Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I thought today it might be interesting to talk about Columbia House. It changed its name sometimes, but I think when I knew it, it was Record and Tape Club. Now, if you are a Gen Xer or before, I don't know what the other years are, maybe even a little older or younger, you'll remember Columbia House records and tapes. Maybe fondly, maybe not. But today I found a box of old CDs. No, I found 3 boxes. And I had a thought of going through the CDs with you guys. But then I just had this memory of the Columbia House records and tapes. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe we should talk about that a little bit. So, our story begins in not Michigan. It's always turned to Michigan. I don't know. See if any of you remember, because you used to have to send your checks to this address. So I remembered it like super clearly. It's in the great state of Indiana, and it is a town called Terre Haute, Indiana. I guess that's how you say it. I don't really. Terre Haute, Indiana. And that is where Columbia, in the 1950s, set up a place to press albums. I believe they were pressing record albums. And then started a mail order service from their factory there in Terre Haute, Indiana. And I think that was, I think it was like 1955 they opened the factory there. And pretty quickly after that, let me set that down, they started advertising in, I guess, magazines at the time, that you could join the Columbia Record Club. I think that was called, actually, I think that is what it was, Columbia Record Club. And you'd get 1 free record album, and then you buy albums, and they would be mailed to your house. And I think at that time they were all, printed by Columbia. And I read that on the album by Columbia, it would actually have a imprint. It would say CRC. I think it was CRC, which stood for Columbia Record Club. And I kind of took a glance at some of my albums just real quickly. And I found a couple that were pressed by Columbia, but I don't see anywhere on here. This is a Johnny Mathis Christmas album. I don't see on here anywhere that it says CRC like somebody said. I was trying to look up information about the club, and I found a lot of conflicting or sometimes just wrong information. So it's interesting. It seems like not a lot written up about it. And it's kind of a fascinating story, I think. Nope, I don't see CRC on here. Anyway, maybe this just, somebody didn't order it that way. It was bought at a store. And then this West Side Story is also Columbia, but I don't see it on here either. So I don't know. Columbia Stereo. Anyway, so it started with record albums. And then, smartly, as, cassette tapes became the rage, they turned it into Columbia House Record and Tape Club. And I read they had reel-to-reel tapes. And then they went into, I saw an advertisement where it had the 8-track tapes all stacked up. And it was like 12 tapes for a penny. Well, by the time I was, in my high school years, we were buying record albums. And then there was kind of a short time during high school when you were buying blank cassette tapes and taping your record albums or the radio onto cassette tapes so that you could listen to them, because suddenly they got cassette tapes in your car and you could listen to a thing you recorded yourself in your car, which was pretty cool. I bought some cassette tapes, but probably not a whole lot of cassette tapes because it was kind of a weird little area there when cassette tapes were popular. Speaking of taping off the radio, though, the DJs used to intentionally talk in the beginning of a song. And then if they had like a first run on a song, they would right in the middle say like, whatever they're called, like WQRD or whatever, right in the middle of the song, just kind of blurped in there so that your cassette recording would have that on it. Anyway, but then when I started college, I believe it's about when, so around 1989, 90, CDs started to get to be more popular or came out. I don't even know what year that happened, but I remember for Christmas, my mom bought me a little CD player with little speakers that I had in my college dorm room. And CDs weren't cheap, and you couldn't just buy, like it used to be, you could get a 45 single, record album or even a cassette single, and they were cheap, but CDs, you had to buy the whole album. They were expensive. So I think probably my sophomore year in college, it was either in a magazine or maybe they just sent a letter to the house. And what it showed, it had an image, and it showed, just, hold on, like stacks of CDs, just stacks of them, And it was every CD, like double CDs. And it was like all this classic rock stuff that you wouldn't necessarily go out and buy because it was on the radio and stuff, but like from the 70s. And you were like, oh my gosh, that's a cool one, that's a cool. And then it said, just send in your envelope, and with a penny, I think it was a penny, oh my gosh. And I feel like it was, you got 12, I think it was 12 CDs for one penny. I think that's what it was. And I feel like maybe there were like stickers and you had to stick them in order, and then put them on this card. I kind of think that's how it went. And then you'd, get your little envelope together and you'd write it out to Columbia House. At one Music Lane in Terre Haute, Indiana. And this is back when you'd write Indiana like that. I don't remember what the zip code was. And then you'd say, Linda. And my maiden name was For Sure Loves Music. At at 301 3rd Street, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And back then, Michigan would have been like that. And maybe the zip was like 4991. I don't remember. Anyway, and then you'd pop your little stamp on there with some random old white guy on it. And off you'd send it. And then 6 to 8 weeks later, you got a box in the mail for 1 penny. And in this, you'd open the box up, and the smell of fresh CD waves out at you. And you get your CDs. You know, real quick, I just wanted to look through here and see if they had. I kind of took a look and I didn't see a. This magazine is from September of 1983. It's Guitar Player. I couldn't find like any other magazine. And I looked through the Old People magazine that I have. I didn't mean to say I couldn't find other magazines, but I couldn't find any from the 90s. But I was surprised it wasn't in People. So I can't find an ad for this, but I was just going to show you. Yeah, I can't believe it. But like, here is an ad from, we couldn't say it better ourselves. Okay, so you'd say, I want Guitar Player magazine, and you'd fill out, you know, a card like this, and you'd fold your check up or whatever and slide it in there, and then send it off to the company. And usually it would say, in 6 to 8 weeks, you'll get your first whatever. So that's how it was done back then. Anyway, so I was looking through my CDs, and I think I may have kind of figured out the free CDs that I ordered. So before I tell you the rest of the story, I'm going to show you the free CDs that I think were maybe my original, you know, freebie CDs. So here are the ones I'm thinking they probably were. Some of them I know for sure, and some of them I think might be right. So, Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. Now, whatever I ended up spending, and I'll tell you why I spent more money on this club, this double set CD, I listened to a million times. So, maybe it was worth it, I don't know. Because this has, on side 1, are the years 73 through 77. Piano Man, Captain Jack, The Entertainer, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, New York State of Mind, The Stranger, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, Just the Way You Are, oh, so good, Moving Out, Anthony's song, Only the Good Die Young, She's Always a Woman, oh. And then Greatest Hits Volume 2 has 1978 to 1985, and it includes My Life, Big Shot, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, Don't Ask Me Why, She's Got Away, Pressure, Allentown, Goodnight Saigon, Tell Her About It, Uptown Girl, not my favorite, The Longest Time, You're Only Human, and The Night is Still Young. So, Greatest Hits Volume 1, for sure I would have played more, but even to this day, they're not in here. And that's because I still have a CD player in my car, and they're in a case in my car that when I go on a road trip, a lot of times I put on Volume 1. Okay, so that's one. And I think this was probably one a lot of people would have ordered at that time. And then this, Simon and Garfunkel's Greatest Hits, which includes Mrs. Robinson, For Emily, Wherever I May Find Her. Sorry, Whenever I May Find Her. The Boxer. If you're not familiar with Simon and Garfunkel, I know he can be kind of I've heard he's kind of I don't know what, bossy or something, whatever, who cares. But these songs are good. The 59th Street Bridge song, Feelin' Groovy, great song. The Sound of Silence, you guys might know the Disturbed version, but they did the original. I'm assuming you're young, you're not. A lot of you are not. You're right here with me with the CD. I'm speaking to the youth. I Am a Rock, Scarborough Fair, yeah, Canticle, that's great. Homeward Bound, love it. Bridge Over Troubled Water, America, Kathy's Song, El Condor Pasa, If I Could, Bookends, and Cecilia. Yeah, this is a great one. All right, so that was one. This is, I'm pretty sure one that I got for free was this En Vogue Funky Divas. Now this would have been, I think, a brand new, what year does it say? 1992. Yeah, that's probably about right. I think this would have been brand new. And I was really into the song, Never Gonna Get It, Your Love. This is a great CD. I haven't listened to it in many, many, many years. Oh, it's in here. But as I recall, it's really good. They like singing, like, I don't know what you call it, 4-part harmonies or whatever. Yeah, this one has My Love, You're Never Gonna Get It, Never Gonna Get It. That one. And then, Hip Hop Lover, that was good. Free Your Mind. That's a great one, Free Your Mind. Desire, Giving Him Something He Can Feel. It Ain't Over Till the Fat Lady Sings. Yeah, that was a good one too. Give It Up and Turn It Loose. Yesterday, Hooked on Your Love. Love Don't Love You. What is love? Thanks, prayer. A lot of love on this. But I think Free Your Mind's really good. You're loving. Anyway, that's En Vogue. I think one of these gals is a Atlanta housewife on Bravo. Okay. And then this, pretty sure this was a brand new CD, and within the 6-month period after this, I think Lucky Town came out. And I think I got Lucky Town at some point, but I couldn't find that CD. This is Bruce Springsteen's Human Touch. And I enjoyed it at the time on re-listens. I think Lucky Town's better than this one. But there are a lot of goods. I mean, Gloria's Eyes. This says Human Touch, Soul Driver, 57 channels and nothing on. Cross My Heart, Gloria's Eyes, With Every Wish. I like that song. Roll of the Dice, All or Nothing at All, Man's Job, I Wish I Were Blind. That's a good song. Long Goodbye, Real Man and Pony Boy. Anyway, okay. And Mary Chapin Carpenter, Shooting Straight in the Dark. This was a new one. But I guess Going Out Tonight must have been the song. There must have been some song here I liked. Oh, there's more here. Down. Oh, yeah, this is during, because it says Haley came to Jackson. I think that's about Haley's Comet. And I remember going to see Haley's Comet. That must have been right around this time. Okay. The Immaculate Collection by Madonna, obviously. Yeah, this has all of her hits. Holiday, Lucky Star, Borderline, Like a Virgin, Material Girl, Crazy for You, Into the Groove, Live to Tell, Papa Don't Preach, Open Your Heart, La Isla Bonita, Like a Prayer, Express Yourself, Cherish, Vogue, Justify My Love, Justify My rescue me. Yeah. How many are we at? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't remember if the double counted as 2. So I think that might be 6, 7. 8, Pink Floyd, A Momentary Lapse of Reason. Yeah. Learning to Fly's on here. On the Turning Away. Yeah. That's a goodie. Oh, it's in there. I should pull that out. My son is very into Pink Floyd. I should give this to him. But he is more into it than I am. He's like into music, and he will time out how long we're going to be in the car to decide whether we can start to listen to like a certain song, and he wants them in order that Floyd wanted them because it's a progression, Mom. Okay. Then we have one of the best albums that I listen to on the reg, Fleetwood Mac, Greatest Hits. This has every song you've ever wanted. It's got Gypsy, Rihanna, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, Hold Me, Everywhere, You Make Loving Fun, As Long as You Follow Dreams, Say You Love Me, Tusk, Little Lies, Sarah, Big Love, Over My Head, No Questions Asked. This is a great one. Oh, it's in there too. Yeah, this is a fun album. So that was one. Yes, 90125. Love it. Owner of a Lonely Heart, Hold On. Changes, Leave It. Yeah, it's a good one. You can see these are worn. I mean, I definitely. Hold on a minute. I must have rebought it. I probably thought I lost it. The Drifters, Golden Hits. If you guys aren't familiar with the Drifters, they're good. There Goes My Baby, Dance With Me, Save the Last Dance for Me, Some Kind of Wonderful, On Broadway, Up on the Rooftop, Under the Boardwalk, or no, Up on the Roof, I guess. So good, so good. All right, what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, I think. So I kind of think this was the other one, James Taylor's Greatest Hits. But what's weird about this one is it doesn't say, all of these say Columbia. But this one doesn't. It says Warner Brothers. But they must have, I read that they printed CDs at the Terre Haute, and I don't know if this is correct. They printed them there. And so CDs that were kind of like B-sides, see how this is like cut funny? They could sell in their club because they were like toss-offs. But I don't know if that's right or not. And I think I noticed another one kind of had a thing like that. It was Fleetwood Mac. See how that one's like cut off funny at the top? So I don't know. I don't know if that one is too. It's like cut. So I read that they printed for all these different labels, and that they would kind of go, that's a B-side, or not a B-side, but like a second, and then they'd sell them on their club, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, so those were my initial 12, and I'm like, oh yes, and listening to all this awesome music and everything. And then I think a month later in the mail, I got some CD I didn't know anything about. It was like, I don't remember what, but some CD that I didn't want. And I was like, what is this? What is this? And a bill for the cost of the CD plus shipping. Now I knew that, and I don't remember the details, but that you got these for a penny or whatever it was, $1, a penny, I don't remember. And then you were in the club. And by being in the club, you agreed, I think it was over the next 2 years, to buy, I could be wrong, it was either you had to buy 3 more or 10 more. And it would have been small print, because maybe I would have agreed to that, but I don't know. I mean, probably I tried putting a wrong name down or something, so I wouldn't get caught, have to pay for it ever. But anyway, so they send me out this CD that I wasn't familiar with. And I remember calling, there was like a phone number, and I was like, I didn't order this. And they said, well, you are sent automatically the record or CD of the month, unless you fill out a form and send it in saying you don't want that for this month. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And to send it back, you'd have to pay shipping. You still have to pay the shipping because they sent it to you. So they don't refund that, and then you'd have to pay to ship it back. So I do remember, like, I kept, I feel like it may have been a Dan Fogelberg double CD set that I just wasn't familiar with him, And so I ended up keeping that, I believe. So that was counted as 2, I think. And then you're just kind of stuck. So then you had to either keep saying, no, I don't want it, or buy the other CDs that you were owed and then cancel, because you couldn't cancel. I can't remember all of how it worked. But here are some CDs I think that I spent money buying to, stay in the club, to pay my bills or whatever it is. But I liked them. I'm pretty sure this was one, and it is Sting went solo, and he put out this album called The Soul Cages. I have no idea how you're supposed to go, but for a while their CDs were in these cardboard. I think they are now, I guess. So this was the first that I had ever seen of that, I think. But this was his solo album, and I think I liked it a lot, actually. But what's weird is, again, with this one, this is A&M Records, which is Herb Alpert and what was the guy's name? Maze, I can't remember, but Herb Alpert was a trumpet player who was very well known, and he started a label, A&M. And even after A&M went out of business, Sting still puts A&M on his records, I think. Anyway, but it doesn't say Columbia anywhere, but I really do think that's where I got this. And I know this is, a lot of people think Sting is super, like, pretentious. And maybe this album has a pretentious feel, but I loved it. I loved it. It's kind of like all written after his dad died. And I think that's right. I think that was this one. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that was one of them, was Sting Soul Cages. And then I think I bought the follow-up to the Mary Chapin Carpenter. And this one's called Come On, Come On. Now, she was a singer who, I guess she'd be considered a country singer, maybe. But I wouldn't. Her music's more like folk music, I think, kind of. Let's see, what song? He Thinks He'll Keep Her. Yeah, that was probably the song. I Feel Lucky. That was a good song. The Bug. Yeah, This is actually a good, I may have put this in my car. Listen to it. I think it's a good CD. So that was what I bought. But you would pay, like if you went to a record store, maybe you'd pay, I don't remember how much they were, $12 for a CD. But with the Columbia House, I think it was more like 14, and you had to pay for shipping, and they charged you shipping and handling, and it wasn't cheap. So they kind of got you there. Anyway, so I think that was one. And then this Billy Joel River of Dreams, because I liked the Billy Joel, greatest hits so much. And this, I listened to it quite a bit because I had it, but I do remember during this time, Billy Joel was married to Christy Brinkley. And I remember having it on in the car, and my soon-to-be brother-in-law said, I liked Billy Joel better when he was a drunk, depressed man. He wrote better music than when he's happy and married. And there might be some truth to that. Because this album, I think now I wouldn't probably listen to it. I don't know. I'm trying to think. There isn't even a song on here that yeah. But anyway, I think that was one of them. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then I bought this double, I think this was part of it, this double CD, The Story of the Clash, which is awesome. Listen to it all the time. It's not in here because it's in my car. This is like my fall weather music because, I don't know, it makes me think of the fall. Yeah, I would buy that. I would recommend this CD. It's so good. And the thing with streaming, sometimes it's hard to get the whole album to play and to play in order, or maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. But sometimes these albums, and this is a greatest hit, so I don't know, but they put the songs in order, wanting you to listen to them that way. So you kind of miss that. That's how my son feels with the Pink Floyd. He wants to listen to those songs in the order that Pink Floyd put them on the album. Yeah, there's truth to that. But this one has Rock the Casbah. This is Radio Clash. Should I Stare? Should I Go? The Magnificent Seven. Lost in a Supermarket. London's Burning. Tommy Gun. Capital Radio 1. I mean, honestly, every song on here is a rocker. I love this album, and I love The Clash, and that's all I gotta say about that. So that's all I could think of. Now, there must have been, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There must have been 5 more that I bought. Unless it was just you had to buy 5, I don't know. But I have boxes of CDs. So I don't know. Anyway, so eventually, and by the way, this wasn't some little operation. The Columbia House Record and Tape Club during the late 80s and the 90s had millions and millions of club members who were buying, getting caught up in it. They also had a ton of scammers who would put in fake names and P.O. boxes and get them for free. So, but I read that they a lot of times ripped off the artist. They would, the reason why the one I was showing you wasn't Columbia, I heard or read, it may have been a YouTube video, that it was an article I read, but anyway, that Columbia would send a check to I don't know, Arista Records or whatever. And if Arista cashed that check from Columbia House, that would be an implied contract, which would mean they couldn't sue them for selling their CDs. So Maybe they were printing Arista CDs and sending them off to Arista and then just printing extra. They sent the check to Arista and then they were selling the CDs, but the check to Arista didn't necessarily say which CDs, I guess. So the artist never got paid. I think that's how it went. And then also when they'd sell something that was like an imperfect, the artist never got paid. And I think I read that James Taylor sued. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. It's all kind of interesting. Like, I think probably so many of us did this. And probably a lot of us ordered these same CDs. I'm not sure. Anyway, all right, well, whoops. I guess that's all I have to say about that subject. Trying to think if there's anything else about it. I guess not. They went out of business when streaming came around. I think for a while they sold DVDs. Oh, and Time Magazine, like Time Corporation. I don't remember if they bought Time or Time bought them. Columbia, I don't remember. But they started making those Time Life collections, like Time Life books and Time Life video, and those commercials you used to see. That was the same company. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I wish I had an ad I could show you because, yeah, I feel like there were stickers you'd peel off and you'd put them on the thing and then mail